So, today we are going to talk about what it really means to be misunderstood while we're fighting for something bigger, while we're fighting for justice, and why it's okay to lose people while doing so. So, yes, this message is aimed towards folks fighting for justice, folks fighting against the system, but not just for you guys. This message could be for anybody who's pushing for what's right, anybody who has spoken their truth and been shut down, sometimes even by the very people who are supposed to be there and support you, family and friends, people that you think would be there in the moment of need. But sometimes they are the ones sitting there judging the most. Sometimes speaking your truth means standing alone, and even when it hurts. In this movement, when you speak up about police, injustice, any truth that makes people feel uncomfortable, people will leave. Sometimes your own family. Yes, again, it's painful, but it's part of the path that we are on. If you're right there right now, please know you're not alone. You're standing on truth, and the real ones will find you. When I lost my brother Michael to a homicide by multiple police in 2017, I quickly became a target. I quickly became misunderstood by my own folks. There were people who I used to talk to daily who switched up, switched up at that time of need, at the time when I was grieving in shock and being attacked by many people. And that's something I will never forget. At the time, I didn't care. It was the least of my worries, but reflecting back over the years, I see it's not right, but I also know that people who are misunderstood, sometimes we are the ones who have to stand up and call out injustices. Sometimes we are the only ones at our place of employment or in our friend group who will stand up for what's right, who have the spine and the backbone to do so. So these days, I don't surround myself with people who wouldn't have my back, people who I wouldn't be able to trust to be there, and people who I may wonder later, like, were they talking about me behind my back while being fake to my face? Again, when Michael was killed, I was heavily attacked. And let me tell you, none of it scared me. I was already fighting against the police. It was more of an annoyance, but it was from a lot of people. And I was very much misunderstood because even today, in this day and time, I still stand for truth and justice and for accountability, just like the first day that this happened to my family. The difference now is I am more educated. I have a vast knowledge on this topic and personal experience, and I have talked to and interviewed many impacted families. So I'm confident with the information I share, with the stories, and how I approach things. But being misunderstood at that time of grief, that's something people shouldn't have to go through. We shouldn't have to be the ones to stand up and fight back while we're the ones being harmed, while we're the ones having to deal with the grief. The way I move today and the way that I've continued to move, it's not because I'm vindictive and I need to get my get back on these people. I still move with love. I move because of love. I stand up for the truth because I love my brother, because I love the families that I've come to know and love like my own family, because I look at the victims and I don't just see another name. I see the person. I see that there are someone who was loved by their family, by their friends. They're a whole light that was stolen wrongfully. His murder and taking the lives of people, it will never be okay. So I'm able to do the work I do confidently because I know I move with love. And that's one thing that I've been highly misunderstood with, because people want to say things like, oh, you're just mad. You're just mad that your brother was killed. Oh, you just hate all police. Oh, don't hate all police just because of some. But those people are highly misinformed. And I don't even go back and forth with people like that these days because If you don't know, if you don't have that experience, if you've never lived what we're living, and if you've never cared to open some books and dig deeper on this topic, then you're not qualified to tell me how to move or to place judgment on me for how I move. Because on the flip side, where there's a whole lot of people that think Marissa Barrera is just mad, Marissa Barrera is aggressive against the police, Marissa Barrera this and that. While I got all those people and haters, there are a whole different group of people who know and understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And some of them do know me, and I have supported them, and they love and appreciate the way I move, the way I'm able to continue telling not just my brother's story, but other stories and uplifting other people, because it is with love. So, Marissa Barrera, I have been highly misunderstood, but guess what? It's okay. And I knew about these type of people even before my brother was killed. I learned these lessons about people who are followers, people who will place judgment on someone without knowing the truth. And I will share a quick story of why I already knew and experienced this type. So I learned a lesson early on. I was in my early 20s, and I ended up dating a guy who was several years older than me. Looking back, I can see the love bombing, the manipulation, the deceptiveness, and the sneakiness of this creep. I can see that I was isolated and being spoken about behind my back, being plotted on basically before there was even a breakup or an issue, because this person knew it would eventually come. So I learned what this person was doing behind my back, and I immediately left them. Sure enough, this person was ending up in places that I was at. He was stalking me heavily. And he ended up trying to get into the friend groups that I was a part of. I was young. I started going out more with my friends, just I didn't have any kids back then. And soon enough, this person was popping up in my friend groups. While I was telling these friends what was going on with the stalking, this person is stalking me. This person did this. And these people who I was hanging out with almost every day look at me and tell me, oh, they think he's a good person. So this person was over here talking so badly about me that my own friends were believing that I was the one doing the dirt in this example. I bring this up because I think back to then how people that should have been having my back as a young woman, as a friend, as someone they were spending their time with, stalking and harassment like that to a woman is never okay to anybody. But to a younger woman, trying to ruin their lives, trying to get people on them. So I knew back then those people were not my friends. Those people do not even deserve my energy and my time and my friendship. So I immediately cut those folks off, and I have never talked to them again. And that's what I had to do when everything happened with my brother and the killing and everything, because the community was very divided. Some people were thanking the police. Some people were cheering them on for killing my brother, literally. While some were questioning it. Some were saying, hey, this man was speaking out against the police prior. Hey, this is what the family's saying. I don't know. We should take another look. There is very divided. But it reminded me, to me, once people have crossed that line, there's a certain line of respect that I can't keep them around, because then my self-respect is diminished. So that's why when this happened to my family, I was able to easily get up and move. From the friends who were talking shit about me behind my back to people thinking that I was doing too much and making myself look bad because I stood up for my brother and my family and myself. From people who now, there's some of these people, they're trying to, people who deleted me or had something to say about me back then want to be friends now, want to follow me now because they see other people supporting, they see me still on it. They see me being one of the very few who is willing to call out Yolo County officials, City of Woodland officials, killer cops. And it's kind of funny to me because I went through a lot with the changes. Again, they were the smaller of my issues at that time. But looking back, like, I didn't deserve that. And all the families that have to go through this after their loved one is murdered by police, they don't deserve that either. People who have been wronged by the system, people who have been wrongfully convicted, people who have been harmed by police in any way, they don't deserve it. And then what happens after it happens? Our own people think that we're the ones tripping. They think we've lost it. How many family members of mine do I not speak to because of this? How many old friends? I don't have friends from the past. I'm cool with a handful of people still. So anybody who we're cool with, we have that understanding. But for the most part, I dropped that whole, everyone from the past. I left them behind. And I was okay with it. I was okay with being misunderstood because guess what? I knew I was right. I knew murder was wrong. And I know that just because law enforcement says something or makes accusations against people doesn't mean it's true. Their word is not fact. There are too many examples out here for anybody to come find online, for anyone to believe that anymore. In fact, people that are smarter or understand what's going on or have experienced it, we know when there's a homicide by police, what do? You read that and then you know that it's probably the opposite and it's probably mostly fabricated, especially that first narrative. And especially if the article or the story is based off the police perspective and the police perspective only. We got to question it, guys. I mean, we could look into history and see some of our leaders who are recognized currently, and they will be recognized for years. They were wronged. The government didn't love these people. They didn't uplift them. They weren't heroes back then. People hated them. And that's why I'm okay with being misunderstood. I'm okay with anything that people want to say about me. I still get comments all the time with people trying to say things about me and then also about my brother and his killing. And that's okay. I know I stand with the truth. I know I have a backing, that I have put in work into this fight. And I've learned a lot. I have the knowledge. And again, that's why I'm okay with being misunderstood. So anybody going through it, just know you're not alone. You're standing on truth. And again, the real ones will find you. Keep speaking. Keep standing. And this is for everyone who has lost people for doing the right thing. You are stronger than you think.